All right, here we go. Testing, testing. Today on Quality
Yep.
Time. Nope. Scott, why do you answer yes? We've done this so many times. You know the drill. What are you responding to?
I'm so, I'm so, I'm so you know. Sorry.
No, I love that. I love that we're live. I love that anyone watching this will see this. It's my favorite. Do you have anything you want to say before we start, Scott? All right, here we go. Here we go. I'm purple right now. Oh my god. Okay. Testing, testing. Today on Quality Time with Family Ties, we learn we ain't laughing. A whole lot of learning going on.
And in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Quality Time with Family Ties. I am one of your hosts, Scott Jones. Joining me as always, Mr. Paul Packler. Paul, how's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an inside joke, listeners. Don't even worry about it. If you really want to know, go watch the YouTube video. Otherwise, we'll just keep rolling along.
This is great radio right now. Corey, how are you, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, I thought we'd start this episode before we get into the episode. This season 5, as bad as it's been, I just want to take a mental check of us. How are we doing? Like 5 seasons in, with this season in particular.
Want to go, Paul?
I'll say this. I mean, we're all kind of busy in our lives right now, but you can feel there's a difference before we start recording that everyone's just like, "Yeah, how you doing? I'm good. I'm good. Let's just do it."
Yeah. Yeah.
I love both of you, and I love talking with you, but by delaying even a second the recording process, it really makes me upset.
I am with you. I am so with you. I'm kind of a little different though. It's like I'm kind of trying to avoid. Like I just want to talk to you guys and avoid having to do like the task at hand.
Yeah. What about you, Corey?
I finished watching this morning's episode. My wife asked me how I was doing, and I looked her dead in the eye and I said, "Here's the bottom line. I don't like the show." I don't like this show. All I could write down was when they started the theme and it said, "I guess we've been together for years," and I thought it feels like it.
Yeah, it feels like it. It so fucking feels like it.
Yeah. And Corey, it feels like it's gonna be a million more.
We got 2 more seasons, man.
I keep on looking at the numbers. I keep on thinking, season 5, 10, episode 10. Nah, it's got to be more than that. We got to be closer to the end of the 5th season. Nope, not even quite in the middle yet. Oh.
This is like the feeling. I was just like, this isn't fun anymore. This isn't fun anymore.
If they would have a good episode every now and then and like dangle that carrot in front of me like it's going to be there, like I'm confident it's going to be there, I think I'd be a lot better. But right now, we're like in the dog days of summer on this show. And each episode, like, trotting out something that they've done before and something they've explored before, something that's pissed us off before. It's just it's repetition.
Yeah. And especially this episode. So let's get into it. We are on season 5, episode 10, High School Confidential. In this episode, Nick is going to try to get his diploma. Because as we've said, as they've shown a billion times on this show, Nick needs to go to school. Nick's doing nothing with his life. Well, really, the opposite is true. Nick knows who he is, and he's doing really well.
What's wrong with
What
being
is
an
the
artist?
problem with
He had a job working in a shoe store. He has his art that was he was the toast of Columbus, Ohio for an episode.
Yeah.
He was being feted around all the big galas and openings.
I'm really annoyed that Keaton's, except for Mallory, feel they need to improve Nick.
Build a better Nick for everybody. Let's make Nick better for Mallory, as opposed to Nick's fine just the way he is.
Yeah. Worry about your son Andy that you're not taking care of. How about doing that?
Come on, they're taking care of him. They make sure that Jennifer's watching him at all times.
Yeah, they're outsourcing.
So the episode starts off. Jennifer and Steven are coming back from carpool, and Jennifer is mortified because they were driving like a popular cheerleader home, and Steven comes up with the most bizarre thing to do in the car of having a mock trial debate between Gorbachev and Reagan over the nuclear arms race, and the popular cheerleader girl gets to be Gorbachev. What the fuck?
Listen, this subplot, it comes up one other time. It doesn't get paid off, and this is what I'm going to say. This is my theory here. Gary David Goldberg is subtweeting his own daughter. Like, something happened where he was driving her somewhere, and she pissed him off, and now he's going to go on TV in front of all of America. He's going to try to, like, say that his daughter is stupid.
Gary David Goldberg, best father ever.
I'll tell you who's the best daddy. Corey Pepper with that dog giving him kisses.
Aww, who's a good boy?
Oh. Now now, listeners, you're really going to want to go on YouTube. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What happened?
Keep going outside.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But I honestly think that's what happened, is that this whole thing is just a personal experience because there's nothing to it. It's just, it is what it is. It's barely a joke, and they bring it up twice to no real explanation.
For some reason, though, Jennifer's whole dialogue here sounded really stilted to me. It sounded like they wrote it in a weird way, and she didn't know how to say it, and it's like they were force-feeding this to everybody, and nobody was happy with it except for Gary David Goldberg.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I will have to say, Tina Yothers might be becoming my favorite actor on this show slowly, because she's getting crap, but she's delivering it as best she possibly can in a very I don't know, effective way. There's something about her I like this season.
There's a certain Gen X apathy and cynicism in all of her line deliveries that's really coming across that I'm enjoying. It's like she's becoming Kurt Cobain.
Except they had her dressed and haired. Her hair was done, and she was fashioned as if she was one of the hosts on The View in 2017. I
don't know what's going on in the costuming in this episode. It's like they're celebrating Easter or something. There's yellows and oranges and purples, and it's just like bright. Everybody just has bright colors.
Yeah.
It's like the other guy from Wham, after not being in Wham anymore, decided to do costumes for this episode of Family Ties.
He just went to his closet. Look, I got this.
Yeah.
Let's use it. Well, we get to the main plot point here. Is Nick was coming back from a job interview where he was going to teach art at the Y to kids. And Mallory tells the family, even though she wasn't supposed to, and Nick comes in and basically says, I didn't get the job. They can't hire me because I don't have my high school diploma. Where this is going now.
Thankfully, in the scene that preceded it, there was lots of orange juice. including a moment where Jennifer spills it all over her own hands.
Did she really? I missed that.
Yeah, Teeny Others, they filled it too high, and she wasn't looking. She was doing the same, right? And it's really too high, and she sort of shakes the glass, and it goes over her hand. And it's only in a moment later when they do another shot of her, you see her like trying to get the overthrown orange juice off of her hand. She has no towel or anything. It's just a very little awkward moment that I just noticed. I thought it was really fun. They didn't stop tape or anything.
So in case you were arguing that this episode doesn't have any laughs in it, there's your laugh.
Right there. Right there.
Right there. When Jennifer did the OJ early in the episode.
They did something in this scene that I feel like I really want them to stop. So where Nick and Mallory, the two-parter where Nick and Mallory already are about to get married, they still have Steven not to speak to their daughter again. It's so goddamn annoying.
Well, it just feels like that whole experience never happened. The stakes have been lowered again. It's like the end of every sitcom. The characters have learned nothing by the next episode. Every lesson has been forgotten.
Yeah.
And that used to be a thing. And this is a great example of just like, we went all the way to another state to get married. We decided against it. It was a big brouhaha. And now all of a sudden, we've all just pretended that didn't happen.
Never happened. Never happened.
But I'll say this that I loved in this scene is that it brought my new orange juice, like the thing that I love in each episode, is that Jen and Andy, she says, let's go upstairs and play, and leave so that way the plot can be explained.
Yep, I wrote the same thing there. Jen takes Andy after he has a line. Thank God. Let's get Andy out of here. Give him a line. Get him out.
He said his one funny little line, and now we have to get him out of there. Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this episode, we get a whole lot more of Andy.
Yeah, I'm sure
that's the thing
that, Corey.
I was dreading talking to you guys about it because I hoped that Corey was going to get through. I know that you've had heart troubles in the past, and I
took a deep breath this morning and I said to myself, I'm not going to let Andy's appearance enrage me and make me rant and rave. We all know how I feel about Andy. It's not going to change. He's the worst child actor I've ever seen on television, hands down.
Right.
And it's just not going to change. So I'm accepting the fact that he's there. He ruins every moment, and I think they should give him absolutely nothing. But I'm not going to rant and rave and tell you that some sort of incarceration or some children's extermination camp or anything like that.
Oh, my God.
See, this is what I appreciate about you, Corey, is unlike the writers of Family Ties, you have dealt with an issue and have moved on to the next thing instead of beating it with a dead horse.
That's exactly right. Now, speaking of the dead horse, I wrote down sort of a little fortune cookie for this entire episode. And all I want to tell the writers is the "you're an idiot" joke is tiresome. They constructed an entire episode of "you're an idiot" joke. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. Mallory, you're an idiot. Nick, you're an idiot. You're both idiots. And they do this very often. Alex,
that really is. It's that mixed in with my mixed in with My Fair Lady.
Yes, there was the Henry Higgins moment. Right, I'm going to teach him something.
Yeah, done before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Can I jump in for a second? I just like to ask you guys a question.
Yes, please. Sure.
People complain and say that like we're too sensitive now, and everyone is calling people snowflakes and political correctness and stuff like that. Well, in the 1980s, there wasn't political correctness wasn't necessarily something that was in the zeitgeist until the 1990s, where then there was a reaction against people. It started in the 90s, people being upset about political correctness. So this is like the heyday for political correct, not or whatever. But my point is, this is a whole episode where it's just being mean to stupid people. So this is what people want? Like, this is what we want to go back to, is a time where you can just spend 24 minutes being like, hey, you're a fucking idiot. Hey, you're a fucking idiot. Hey, you're a fucking... And this is... So this is great. This is what we're hoping to achieve.
You know what, Paul? And it gets... just what you said gets to big part of the scene that I absolutely hated. It's where Nick calls out Alex. He basically says, you don't think I can pass the test, do you, Alex? He's like, no, I don't, Nick, and walks out. And at that point, I thought, Nick's going to make a choice. I'm going to show Alex I can do it. And instead, he backs in and is like, yeah, Alex is right.
I thought he was going to punch him in the face.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
I was hoping for that. Yeah, I was hoping for that. But he gives it. He's like, Alex is right.
But why is it funny to make fun of these people who aren't good at school? What are we trying to prove here as the writers, as this show? You got this guy who's really smart, but he's an asshole. You have these people who aren't book smart, but are really nice. Let's make fun of them for that. Like, what?
I was thinking about other stupid characters because, you know, the stupid character is a very much a stock character from sitcom. And it's not a bad character at all. But
Gomer Pyle.
Look at what they did on Cheers with Joey. Now, Joey's dumb. But they never made it, let's make fun of stupid Joey. Because if you're making fun of stupid Joey, the real question is, what's your shortcoming that you would be friends with somebody that's stupid? And that's really sort of like, you know, it's like, you got to make sure that you're sort of gentle. Let Joey be stupid with things, but let your friends love you in spite of the fact that you're stupid.
Yeah. Or it's usually a thing. There's a thing too that the character who is stupid usually is stupid in the way that they see things differently than everybody else. So it's like, hey, that shirt is really too small, and then they think that it's actually a dish rag that was a shirt. You know, that sort of a thing. That there's always a lateral thinking that happens. That's why the person is, quote, stupid.
As opposed to, in this show, it's literally stupid. You're stupid. Your book learning stupid. You can't learn what the difference between a noun and a verb is. You're that stupid.
And that's it. Over and over and over.
Absolutely. And that's why I wrote down, it's very tiresome to watch that joke performed over and over again, especially since we've all established we like Mallory and Nick. I like them. I think they're good characters. Stop calling them stupid. And it's not use, Alex. Like later in the show, when Nick says to Alex, that's why you like yourself so much. Huh, Alex? You know, just saying that to Alex is not an excuse for his ego. I don't think it excuses his ego.
Yeah. No, not at all. It's kind of going back to what you guys said with, you know, we all do improv and teach improv. It's a stupid character does not think of themselves as stupid. They don't view them. No one views themselves as stupid.
And nobody.
So it's all about your worldview. And Nick,
you're stupid. People roll their eyes at stupid people and walk away. You don't stand there and go, wow, you're really stupid. How do you get by every day? How do you wake up in the morning? You're so stupid.
Yeah.
Although I believe I did do that to David Beach once. I just harassed him and just said, how do you wake up in the morning? You're so stupid.
There's an exception to every rule.
Absolutely. Okay, so we get into the living room, and so Nick and Mallory are trying to make plans, and Nick is kind of acting like he's over it, but deep down he's kind of crushed. And Alex, says if Nick was so serious about wanting that job, why doesn't he go back and get his high school diploma? And goes off with Andy to put him down for bed. And that's when Mallory gets the idea of helping Nick, Tim, to get his high school diploma.
Nick is wearing yellow.
And Nick
He's wearing yellow, a yellow
and Nick
shirt.
really doesn't want to.
Wear yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you say that?
What?
That he wants to wear. You said he doesn't even want to wear yellow.
Oh, no, not about yellow. I meant about he doesn't even really want to take the test.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. Yeah. No, but I'd rather much. I'd like to discuss the yellow with the yellow belt that we've never seen before.
Well, he's gone through purple. He went through his purple phase.
Oh, he's like Picasso with his blue phase.
I think so. I think he's going through his yellow phase now.
He's worn that purple belt for as long as we've known him, and usually the purple T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This could be a new that he's turning a corner. Is that because it's like sunny disposition? He wants to teach children in preschool type stuff.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, if I'm going to the job interview, I mean, did he have a purple belt on for the job interview?
That's a good question.
I think he did. I'm just saying. I think you're onto something more sunny, more bright.
Yeah. Oh, when Andy goes upstairs with Alex, the way that they get him to leave is probably the most clunky, awful. This is probably the worst Andy ever.
Yeah.
They have him. They're counting on him to say something about, like, he's standing on the couch next to Alex, and they're like, Andy, take Alex upstairs. Like they're turning the corner. They're trying to be like, oh no, it's not us saying we're going to take Andy away. We're going to say, Andy, take this person away. And so he's staring off into the nothingness of beyond the cameras. And they're like, Andy, take Alex upstairs.
Where mommy and daddy are.
And he's looking off, and then he's like, oh, I have to say something now. And then he turns and he's like, come on, Alex. And he's just like, come on, Alex. Go upstairs and make color book. And you're just like, I got nothing. And Michael J. Fox is like, well, Andy, I don't want to color right now. And then they go from the big standing shot of the couch, they go right up into his nostrils, and they're like getting that shot so that way they can do multiple takes. And he's like, but Alex, it's a Walt Disney Journal coloring book. And then the audience laughs out of politeness, and Michael J. Fox chases Andy off stage.
You see, I'm glad you broke that down, Paul, because I wrote down 3 words. Andy must die. Andy must die.
Corey, I thought you made so much personal growth.
I know. I thought I did too until I just noticed in my notes. I have down Andy must die, and then I also can't understand a fucking thing that child says.
No.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the poor script supervisor on that show this season? That poor person.
So everybody leaves Mallory and Nick alone so they can start tutoring. She can start tutoring him in English. English is the subject that he needs to study. And she says, well, I'm pretty good at English. I only had to take it twice. She starts tutoring him. They start arguing about what verbs are. And then Alex B. Keaton comes down to once again make fun of stupid people.
Also, he was told,
be an asshole.
Stay away from us. Give us some privacy and let us do this on our own. And he once again doesn't listen to a request that his sister and her boyfriend make. He does the wrong thing. He spies on them and then makes fun of them.
Yeah. And this is the moment when Nick really gets in Alex's face about, like, you really don't have any faith in me, do you? And it almost feels kind of dramatic at that moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was thinking, like, oh, this is going to be Nick kind of one-upping Alex, you know, kind of rubbing in Alex's face. And they don't.
I thought it was going to be, hey, you know what? You don't think I'm going to do this? Watch me. I'm going to kick ass. And instead, it's, you don't think I can do this? You're right. I quit.
I hated it. I hated it so much.
And before we go to commercial, one more thing that I wanted to ask to see if you guys were able to figure it out, because it didn't make sense to me. They're saying that there's a test tomorrow he has to take. They're just planning this now. And then not only that, he's supposed to be getting, what, his high school diploma. Wouldn't you, if you haven't been in school, be going for your GED?
Yes.
So then what the fuck is that?
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
They don't, it's like no one on the staff was like, hey, what's that thing called when you don't get your high school diploma? Oh, who cares? Just keep going.
Who cares?
Real quick, also, when Nick was talking about how great it would to be a teacher, were you guys a little creeped out when Mallory was calling him Mr. Moore?
It was a creepy scene. That's what I wrote down. Really creepy scene between Mallory and Nick.
Yeah. And then one final thing.
Right.
One final thing before we go to commercial. There's a little trivia and irony here that Michael J. Fox didn't graduate from high school. He hated school, and so he left and became an actor. And so later in his life, he actually got his GED.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you know when he got it, Paul?
I don't know. Sometime after he got famous, that he was like, well, you know what I want to do? I want to finish my schooling and stuff like that.
Cool.
So,
all right.
On that note,
all right. Yeah.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Everyone thinks that Nick sucks.
No, except Mallory. Everyone's making fun of Nick. Because they're in the kitchen and they're talking about.
Yeah, Mallory's like blaming Alex for, for Nick not having any faith in himself.
And the rest of the family, he's like, "Am I wrong that Nick wouldn't pass this test?" It's like, no, like, and even Jennifer makes some smart ass remark.
But they have this scene here with Andy sitting on Elise's lap using markers. And I don't want to make fun of this kid. Really, I don't want to make fun of him. I'm sure his motor skills are I'm not going to make fun of him and make him seem like there's some sort of developmental problem here. But watch him try and put caps on and off markers. And you tell me, I leave this up to you, that there's something seriously wrong with Brian Bonsall.
Well, two things. First of all, the irony that we've spent so much time in this episode talking about making fun of someone who's dumb and how awful that is.
We are.
I'm the worst person in the world.
Number two.
We really had to take
Brian
a good look
Bonsall
in the
is
mirror.
3 years old. I can't imagine any 3-year-old being able to put a cap on a marker. So
hold on a second, Scott. How old's Henry?
Henry is 4.
And can Henry put caps on and off of markers?
Yeah, absolutely. He knows how to. He has to clean up any mess that he makes.
That's my case. There's something wrong with Brian Bonsall. And then they give him that silly line like, I don't have any faith in you. I don't have any faith in you. I don't have any faith in you. And then Andy goes, I have faith in you, Nick. And everything stops. And they all go, what was that? And he goes, I don't even know what we were talking about. Like, takesy backsies on the joke. It was just a joke for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
A laugh line. And then he took it right back at the end of the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then who takes him away? Who
Say
takes?
it, Jennifer. Jennifer takes him because I wrote down
Jennifer.
Jennifer is indeed raising Andrew. Yep, Jennifer says, "Come on, Andy, let's get ready for something or another," and she picks him up and they go off.
And then, so Mallory starts yelling at Alex. And then immediately, Andrew comes running back in through the door. And he can't sleep because he's afraid of the dark. Guys, can you see where this is going?
I really don't want to talk about it.
I have an idea.
Can we ignore this horrendous moment and make it go away?
This is my favorite part of the episode because
really quick.
Because it goes full bore into the most trickly, like, maudlin display of just cutesy.
Yes.
They're just smacking you in the face with the message.
Rainbows.
Oh, it's horrible. It's just horrible.
Rainbow stars, clouds, dream hats,
First of all,
marshmallow moonbeams.
Doesn't Nick seem like he like drops the accent all of a sudden? Like all of a sudden, he's Rambo. He talks like the most yo, Alex, how you doing? And Andy, there are rainbows and magical unicorns. And and gives you a pot of gold. Andy, it's an illusion, Andy. Enjoy this, Andy. And it's like, who the fuck are you?
So true.
That's what happened, you guys. Nick Moore doesn't have a high school diploma because Nick Moore is not his real name. He's actually a carny. He's been traveling with the circus. And Nick Moore is just an alias that he's adopted.
It's true.
It explains the yellow belt.
Exactly. The colors of the circus.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Andy refuses to sleep, and following right behind him through the doorway is Jennifer saying, I can't get Andy to fall asleep. And so Nick starts being like, hey, buddy, come on. Have you ever heard of a dream hat? That's why you can't sleep. This will protect you from the dark. And he gives him a whole thing about puppies and unicorns and rainbows and horseshoes, all the stuff you're talking about in a Lucky Charms box.
Mm-hmm.
And he sits down at the table with Andy, takes a piece of construction paper, folds it into a cone like a dunce cap.
It is. It's a fucking dunce cap.
It's a dunce cap.
He staples it along the edges. Draws some nonsense on it, some incantation that...
What I love was, Paul, is he says the hat is shaped like a cloud, but it clearly has no shape like a cloud.
I totally missed that he said that. He says the hat is shaped like a cloud?
Yes.
Yes. It's a dunce cap.
So wait, no. This all makes sense because to Nick, he was a carny, and he was working with Professor Marvel at the circus, and it turns out that a dunce cap shaped cloud is a tornado. So Nick was taken in the cyclone, and he was shaken around with Dorothy Gale. And then all of a sudden, he ended up in Columbus, Ohio, and he doesn't know where he is, and he's forgotten his old past. So now he's just starting to make up a whole new personality named Nick Moore. That's why he sounds like
a better show.
That's why he sounds like he's Italian, but his name is Nick Moore.
Nick Moore. You do know what I think, though, Paul? Okay, so later on, as we get towards the end of the series, there is a spinoff with Nick where he is a teacher, right?
Yeah, it's called The Art of Nick. And I think after this season 5, and before season 6, we're going to review the pilot episode of The Art of Nick.
Right.
Surprise.
So you can see
Surprise,
this is where
guys.
they're planting the seed. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, so you see this is where they're planting the seed for a spinoff of Nick.
He's very well developed. They keep giving him all kinds of different personality traits and stuff that they could pick up on later.
He's a complex character, which is great. All right.
Can I just say,
Alex?
My favorite part of this moment is when he's making the dunce cap cloud hat. It cuts over to from him and Andy talking to each other at the table, and it cuts to Mallory and Alex, and all of their hearts are just growing 3 sizes.
There's a Yiddish word. They're kvelling. They're kvelling over it. They can't get enough.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. I thought I saw Alex mouth the words, "He's a mensch."
Yes, I love him.
I love him. Yeah, and Alex is so overwhelmed by Nick's performance that he agrees to coach Nick. And so we go to Nick's apartment.
Nick's apartment has changed so many times in this series so far. It started with he was living with his aunt in a house that wasn't the best house, but it was fine. And then he was a couple episodes living in an apartment. Now his apartment has been, dare I say, hit by a tornado. There's just shit everywhere. Now he's living in squalor.
Yeah. It's slightly becoming a hoarder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not even fun art stuff anymore. You're a hoarder, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so so Alex comes over to say how impressed he was with how Nick handled Andy, and that he wants to help Nick because it means something to Mallory, and if it means something to Mallory, it means something to him, and if it means something to him in his narcissistic view, it means something to the world.
Sure.
And it just feels throughout this whole entire episode, Nick has just been saying he does not want to do this.
Yeah.
He really doesn't, and everybody is so insistent.
So Alex sits down on the couch and he places like a toilet wrap thing on or a handkerchief to sit on so he doesn't dirty the ass of his pants. And then Nick offers him some snacks, some potato chips, and then Nick pulls up the cushion of his couch to say, if you want more potato chips, they are under the cushion of the couch. What?
See, once again, we've praised Nick. We think, oh, you've created this interesting character, and now he's brain damaged.
This is a different character from the scene previous.
That's exactly right. The scene previous, when he had balls and was about to tell Alex to go fuck himself, instead, he's now snacking on things that have fallen through the seat cushions. If they thought that was funny, God bless them. Once it would have been, the comment about it would have been funny. To watch him doing it turns him into an idiot.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
It's just amazing. Alex then calls Nick right after this a total drain on society. He says, you know, if you get this, maybe you won't be a total drain on society. Like he's on welfare, like he's in the prison system, like he's some drain on societal money in some way. It's like he's an artist. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
He's not hurting anybody.
And
I
clearly
think that should be
loves his sister.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Treats her well. I think our new hashtag on our Twitter feed should be hashtag leave Nick alone.
Just leave him alone. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. So we cut to later, I guess in the evening. We have no idea what time frame it is. It felt like he went over there late at night.
Oh, that's the thing.
And then it was like morning the next day.
We established earlier in the episode that he has until tomorrow to learn everything about the English language for this test that we don't know what is happening.
Right.
So Alex is like,
Like Mallory, who had 8 weeks to prepare.
right, exactly. And so Alex is like, well, Nick, a sentence, it has parts of it, and he's like a, and he's looking around the room, and he's like a motorcycle. And then he goes over and asks Nick questions about parts of a motorcycle to use that as a metaphor about parts of a sentence.
And then
Very My Fair Lady.
Then I could see where this was going, and I stopped watching.
Oh, you guys. Corey, before we started, Scott said the same thing.
Really?
Is there a delay again?
What do you mean? Are you all right?
I'm good. I was just wondering if Corey heard a delay or something.
No, I was.
Okay.
All of a sudden we okay. I'll drive us home on this motorcycle sentence, you guys. So all of a sudden, we fast forward a bit, and it turns out that Alex is wearing a leather jacket, and he's perched on the motorcycle like this, and he's eating pizza from a box. And there are Post-its all over the motorcycle for adjective and preposition and stuff like that. And it turns out they're actually talking, and Nick is jiving and wailing like so many Brian Setzer orchestra songs. And and so it turns out that Nick has learned how to structure a sentence and figure out break it down and all that kind of stuff. Then what do you think happens, you guys? Take a wild guess. They've finished the lesson. They're happy with where they've ended up. Now what happens? I'll give you a clue. At the end of an episode, they usually start talking about why they are who they are. And by that clue, I've told you exactly what it is. They start being like, Nick talks about why he's so stupid. Alex talks about how he's so smart and why they like who they are and all this kind of meeting of the minds stuff. We fast forward to the next morning. It's 11 a.m. Alex hasn't slept all night. And everybody comes home as Alex and Mallory are waiting with bated breath for word back from Nick. The family has gotten Nick some prizes for how he does on the test. Nick comes in the room. Alex freaks out and gives him a hug. Turns out Nick got a C-, so he passed.
Hey.
Now, here's the final thing. Jump in if you have anything to say. But the final moment is Nick says to Alex, like, I did it. And Alex is like, yay. And he's like, interjection. And he's like, you did it. He's like, statement of this. And then Alex is like, I've created a monster. And so Nick knows all the parts and figurative language of a sentence. And he's so good at it, he's doing it in real time as Alex is speaking. So then how did he get a C- if he's so good at this?
That's a good point.
And as I'm thinking this, and Alex says, I've created a monster, credits. What? We don't learn whether Nick gets the job. We don't. Nothing happened.
Nothing. Yeah, we don't know if he's like if he's gonna get the job. We don't know
if he even learns about his past working in the circus, and whether he'll find out his real his real name and go back to Kansas.
We don't know any of that. I think we've created a better episode than the writers once again.
Surely we have.
It's a low bar.
It's a very low bar. Well, for questions and comments, be sure to write us at qualitytimewithfamilyties@gmail.com. And be sure to follow us on Twitter for all the updates at Qtwft on Twitter. We're each on Twitter too. I'm at Follow Jones.
I'm at Paul Packler.
And I'm at Corpep.
Be sure to like our Facebook page. We'd like to thank our host and producer, Barbara Dillon at Fanbase Press. Fanbase Press is an online conglomerate of geek media providing its readers with daily insights and reviews into the geek pop culture spectrum, and also helping creative independent writers and artists. We also like to thank Perry Adams, who beautifully performs the theme song Without Us. Be sure to check out all of Perry's music at perryadams.com. We also like to thank Brian Dillon, Fanbase Press's co-president, and you can also follow him on Twitter at Comic Book Slayer. He also edits this show. And lastly, Sean Foster, Fanbase Press's graphic designer, for designing our logo. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Bye. Bye.